Before the Wright brothers took flight on December 17, 1903, humans had dreamed of soaring through the skies like birds for centuries. From ancient myths and legends to the latest supersonic jets, our fascination with flight has always been a driving force in innovation and discovery. But how did this fascination turn into reality? And what were the pivotal moments and people that made the impossible possible? In this video, we will go back in time to explore the history of the world's first airplane. We'll meet the brilliant minds and brave souls who dared to challenge the limits of human endeavor and discover how their ideas and inventions laid the foundation for modern aviation. Get ready to be inspired by the story of the Wright brothers and the incredible journey that led to the birth of the world's first airplane. The dream of flight. Long before the first airplane ever took to the skies, humans had been dreaming of flight. Ancient myths and legends tell of mythical creatures such as Icarus and the legendary bird-like creature Garuda that could soar through the heavens. These stories reflect our innate desire to conquer the skies and experience the freedom and wonder of flight. But it wasn't until the Renaissance that the dream of flight began to take shape in a more concrete form. Leonardo da Vinci was one of the first to seriously study the mechanics of flight. He observed the flight patterns of birds and insects and sketched designs for flying machines that were remarkably similar to modern helicopters and airplanes. However, his inventions were never built during his lifetime, and the dream of flight would have to wait many more years to take off. Early attempts at flight. In the following centuries, several inventors came close to achieving flight. George Cayley, an English engineer, is credited with being the father of modern aeronautics. He built the first glider in 1804 and developed the concept of the airplane, which consisted of three main components: lift, drag, thrust, and weight. He also identified the four forces that must be balanced in order for a machine to fly. But it wasn't until the late 19th century that the dream of flight really started to take shape. In 1862, French inventor Henri Giffard successfully flew the first steam-powered airplane over a distance of 14 miles in just 22 minutes. But the engine was so heavy and inefficient that the plane could only carry a small payload, and it was abandoned after just a few years. Other inventors, such as Otto Lilienthal and Percy Pilcher, made significant contributions to the advancement of aviation. Lilienthal, a German engineer, built and flew over 2,000 gliders, making detailed studies of lift and control. His work was instrumental in advancing the understanding of how aircraft could fly and maneuver in the air. Pilcher, an English engineer, designed and built the first powered aircraft to fly more than a kilometer without a parachute or balloon. His achievements laid the groundwork for the development of heavier-than-air flight. The pioneers of flight. As the 19th century drew to a close, several pioneers were on the verge of achieving something that had never been done before: heavier-than-air flight. Among them were Samuel Langley, an American astronomer and engineer, and the Wright brothers, Milton Wright and his sons, Orville and Wilbur. Langley, who worked at the Smithsonian Institution in Washington, D.C., built a series of unmanned aircraft that were powered by steam engines. His most famous invention was the aerodrome, a biplane that was able to fly more than 60 miles per hour, but it suffered from stability issues and crashed during a demonstration in 1908. Meanwhile, the Wright brothers, who lived in Dayton, Ohio, were conducting their own experiments in aviation. They had set up a wind tunnel in a shed behind their bicycle shop and were studying the mechanics of flight in detail. They also built their own gliders and conducted test flights at Kitty Hawk, North Carolina. Their goal was not just to build an aircraft, but to understand how it could be controlled and maneuvered in the air. One day, while testing their gliders, they realized that the key to controlling an aircraft lay in the ability to move the wing forward and backward, as well as up and down. They developed a system of movable wings, called a wing warping mechanism, that allowed them to bank and turn the aircraft. This breakthrough led to their first successful flight of a powered aircraft on December 17th, 1903. The Wright Flyer. The Wright Flyer was a biplane made of wood and fabric. It had a wingspan of 40 feet and a length of 21 feet. The engine was a 4-cylinder inline gasoline engine that produced 12 horsepower. The plane weighed about 600 pounds and had a top speed of 40 miles per hour. Orville Wright was at the controls for the first flight, which took place on a hilltop at Kitty Hawk, North Carolina. The plane stayed airborne for 12 seconds and covered a distance of 120 feet. It may not seem like much by today's standards, but this historic flight marked the beginning of a new era in human history. The first flight was watched by two witnesses, John T. Daniels and J.C. Choate. The men stood speechless as the plane took off and soared through the air. After landing, Orville and Wilbur were greeted with congratulations and handshakes. The news of their achievement spread quickly, and soon the world was buzzing with excitement. The significance of the first flight. The Wright brothers' first flight was a monumental achievement that changed the course of history. It opened up the skies for exploration and travel, and laid the foundation for the development of modern aviation. Before the Wright brothers, heavier-than-air flight was considered impossible. Many experts believed that it would never be possible to build a machine that could mimic the flight of a bird or an insect. But the brothers proved them wrong. They showed the world that sustained and controlled flight was possible, and that the dream of conquering the skies was within reach. The impact of the first flight was immediate and profound. It captured the imagination of people around the world, and inspired a new generation of inventors and engineers to pursue careers in aviation. The aviation industry boomed in the early 20th century, with new companies and manufacturers popping up all over the world. The first commercial flight took place in 1914, and by the end of World War I, planes were being used for military and civilian purposes. The first flight also had a profound impact on warfare. Planes were quickly adapted for military use and became a major factor in World War I and subsequent conflicts. The development of new technologies, such as radar and jet engines, led to the creation of even more advanced and powerful aircraft. The evolution of flight. The Wright Flyer may have been the first successful airplane, but it was far from the last. Over the years, countless innovations and improvements have been made to aircraft design, leading to the development of some truly remarkable flying machines. Early airplanes were relatively slow and cumbersome, but the introduction of jet engines in the mid-20th century revolutionized air travel. Commercial jets could now fly at speeds of over 600 miles per hour, making long-distance travel more convenient and efficient than ever before. Supersonic and hypersonic flight also became possible, allowing aircraft to reach new heights of speed and maneuverability. In addition to commercial and military aircraft, the Wright brothers' invention also paved the way for other forms of flight, such as helicopters and drones. Helicopters were first developed in the early 20th century and quickly found applications in military and civilian industries. Today, they are used for everything from search and rescue missions to aerial photography. Drones have also become increasingly popular in recent years, with applications ranging from package delivery to surveillance. A lasting inspiration. The Wright brothers' first flight was a monumental achievement that changed the course of history. It opened up the skies for exploration and travel, and laid the foundation for the development of modern aviation. Their story continues to inspire people around the world, and their legacy lives on in the countless innovations and advancements in flight that have come since. The first flight was a testament to the power of innovation and perseverance. The Wright brothers faced countless obstacles and setbacks on their journey to achieving flight, but they never gave up on their dream. They were willing to experiment, learn from their mistakes, and push the boundaries of what was possible. Today, their story continues to inspire people around the world to pursue their dreams, and to never give up in the face of adversity. Whether you're an aspiring entrepreneur, a struggling artist, or simply someone looking to make a difference in the world, the Wright brothers' story can be a source of motivation and inspiration. So if you're facing challenges and feeling discouraged, remember the Wright brothers and their first flight. With hard work, determination, and a refusal to give up on your dreams, you can achieve anything.